Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joining your other host,
Karen.
And tonight, I'm kind of sort of excited for this. We are talking about the 9 Inch Nails show we just saw last night.
Last night, yes.
This was part of their Peel It Back tour. We saw the first show here in Chicago, August 19th, at the United Center. Opening for them was Boys Noize. And just going through the ticket prices real quick, we paid $64.50 for tickets with $20.83 in fees and $1.19 in tax. So not the worst price, I don't think, but pretty steep fee price, I think. And that was also for the 300 section as well.
We had the last row in the 300 section.
We had the very last row in the 300 section again. And by again, we've been to other shows where we sat in the very last row. Yeah. I did have in my comments here on our spreadsheet that the pit sold out in under 8 minutes, and prices for the pit before fees were $125.
Oh, okay. That's not really bad.
It's really not, I don't think.
No. Because I remember, I feel like, was I home when you bought these or were we texting about it?
You may have been texting about it. I can't remember, honestly. And I don't know how I know it was sold out in under 8 minutes.
Well, because I think it was a queue thing.
Maybe by the time I got into the queue, it was sold out and I had been waiting for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm thinking it was that, but I can't remember where that number came from.
Exactly where that came from, yeah.
Right.
Because we were going to get pit tickets, and then I think you said, like, it's sold out. And I was like, well, just get whatever tickets you can.
Yes.
So you decided to go all the way up to the last row.
And I think this, too, when this was announced, that there was only one show in Chicago. And I think it sold out so fast that they added a second show the very next night.
Okay.
And I think there was a conversation we had about that afterwards, because you could tell there was like a break in the dates where there wasn't another show that next night. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, they sometimes do that. Yeah. And System of a Down has done that as well later this year. There's 2 shows there because the first show sold out. Same thing, there was a little break in their calendar. So they had the room to add an extra show. And maybe there's another show like that as well. I can't remember.
Well, Spirit Box was that way.
Spirit Box a couple years ago. Yeah.
Or were you meaning like this year?
This year I thought there was another one.
There may have been. Yeah. Well, Crowbar sold out, so they're doing they did a matinee. They're doing a matinee show.
They're doing a matinee show. Yes, with I Hate God at Reggie's.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. We have something going on that afternoon. I'd love to go to that, but that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. I would have done it just for the matinee aspect. Like, what's it like to go to a show at 2:00 in the afternoon? Right.
But I mean, so it sold out. We didn't get pit, and at that point, like the prices were pretty high, or higher than I wanted to pay for like the 100 or 200 section, and that may have been why I was like, "Fuck it, we'll just get the last row." When I picked them out, that's the only thing I can think of. I do need to get better at taking notes while we buy tickets when it's something like that. Because I think at the time I was like, I'll just remember this. But a lot's happened since buying these tickets that I completely forgot. And there's another show coming up as well where we were both trying to buy tickets. We'll talk about that when we do that episode. And it just didn't work out because, I don't know. Well, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of back and forth between us, a lot of conversations we had, a lot of thoughts after buying tickets. And I can't remember what those were now. That it's been like...
Oh, for this show?
No, for the show coming up.
Oh,
the System of a Down show we're going to, basically.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that either, so...
When at the time we were buying the System of a Down tickets, I was like, I'll remember all this. And again, we'll go over all this more in detail, or the same detail.
Yeah, this detail. This is all the detail we have, so it's not going any further.
No. Anywho, getting back to this show. Our second show this month, this year, at the United Center. We haven't seen a show at the United Center in 3 years, 4 years.
No, I saw it. Disturbed.
Well, you saw Disturbed, right? With us together. Like, I think the last one was Roger Waters, right? We don't see many shows at the United Center.
No, a lot of bands that we see don't go to United Center, though.
No, not really.
Like, we go to a lot more smaller shows, so.
I remember seeing Linkin Park there just a couple weeks ago and thinking the acoustics were not that great.
No, they're not the best.
Tonight, kind of jumping ahead a little bit, I thought the sound was pretty good. I really enjoyed the sound.
Yeah, it could be our seats were different. So.
Our seats were a little different as well. We were closer to the stage. But we'll talk about that. I guess, how do you want to start this off?
Well, you kind of alluded to it. We got close to the stage. So before the show even started, we had met some friends in Ohio that were at the same show.
At Incarceration.
At Incarceration. They were our neighbors camping. And so they were just a few sections away from us. So we just went over there and said hi and talked for like maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever. And then we went back, and since we're in the last row at the United Center, there's like standing room only, and mostly for like hockey games.
Hockey and basketball, yeah.
games,
Because I think behind us there was a curtain that typically opens up for those games, and there's like bars and shit back there.
Yeah.
So you buy like a standing room only ticket, which is basically you hang out at the bar and look down over everyone.
Yeah. So that's what we were kind of doing, is we were just like gonna stand there for a little bit and kind of just hang out, and right behind our seats. So
Yep.
it wasn't like just in a random section. And a worker from United Center came up, and I thought he was asking or like telling us like, hey, you need to sit down, sort of thing.
Yeah, because he kind of looked at us, and I felt like he looked at our seats in front of us, and then he looked back at us, and then he said something like, is it just you two?
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, well, if it's just you two hanging out here, it's fine.
Yeah, that's
but
what I thought.
we can't have people standing here. Like, this is a fire hazard. You need to be in your seats. That's what I thought he was going to say, too.
Yeah. Which, for Disturbed, I stood in the back the entire time. There was nobody said anything, but then again, different concerts,
Different people, different concerts. You don't know what's going on and
Yeah.
whatnot, right?
But yeah, so after he asked if it was just us two, I was like, yeah, it's just us two. And I was about ready to like go sit back down because I thought the same thing. And he was like, do you want 2 tickets for the 100 section? And I was like,
Sure.
Like, why would I turn that down?
And then he gave us like physical tickets. So we now have a physical ticket, which is super cool because you don't get physical tickets that much anymore. There's a few venues like the Rave that does it all the time. But for the most part, when you buy online, there's not even the option that I see to pay more for a physical ticket.
No, they don't. Like, nobody, Live Nation doesn't send out tickets.
Which
that's for sure.
I would gladly pay the $5-10 to get physical tickets delivered so I can, have a little souvenir. So that was the biggest thing for me. So we got physical tickets to go, for the show. So that was awesome.
Yeah. So we got these tickets, and then I said to you, I was like, well, if the seats suck, like, we'll just come back up, because I didn't know this was for section 121.
Yep.
I didn't know where that was, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, if it's all the way at the back of the arena.
Yeah.
Like,
basically where we were for Roger Waters and for Lincoln Park.
Yeah, but this wasn't a completely center stage. So I was like, if we're in the back of the arena, I don't really want to sit back there. I'd rather sit where we were in 301, where you're kind of like looking down on everything. So I said, let's go check out the seats and see where they are. And if they suck, we'll just come back up, basically.
And it was like directly stage left, pretty close to the stage on stage left. Pretty decent, honestly. Really cool that we got the tickets to go down there to get the upgrade to do that.
Yeah. No, it's only happened to us one other time.
At Ghost, yeah.
But the entire section got moved because they didn't sell enough.
Right.
So it wasn't just us, but that was pretty cool too.
But even before getting down there, we haven't even talked about the stages because we said we were on stage left. But there were actually like 3 stages, which I remember seeing the 2 when we got there early and were sort of hanging out. I kind of sort of saw the 3rd, but didn't really.
I thought it was the sound booth. So.
Yeah, it definitely was the sound booth. Yeah. But so basically what it was a normal straight across stage up front, and then there was a giant square in the middle, and this is what cut off the floor versus the seats, because it was a split floor that we've been to before, where the back half of the floor is seats, the front half is GA. And so you have that giant cube in the center, and like between the sound stage and the main stage, and then like right above the sound stage or right in front of the sound stage was like a platform as well, which I didn't necessarily see it as a platform, but it turned out to be that's where the opening Boys Noize was going to do his set from that little platform all the way back.
Yeah, was the soundstage even back there though?
I think it was back there.
Okay.
I honestly
now
I don't
that I'm
know,
thinking
but
about
I think it was.
I don't think so. It was just that little square.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it was the soundstage, but maybe front of house. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong.
No, I don't think it was back there.
I assumed it was. I don't know. I didn't get a good look at it, so maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But that's where Boys Noize was.
Yeah.
And even getting into the arena early and finding our seats, the house music wasn't your standard sort of house music of just like rock or pop or whatever the fuck they're going to play, or rap or whatnot. It was sort of ambient, sort of background noise type music, right? Like chilled EDM-ish type stuff, I would say. Electrical music.
Yeah.
So
I don't pay attention to the house music like you do.
Sure.
So
yeah, but it plays into how the whole set went.
Yeah, no,
Because also looking above, there were these long LED lights that went from the front of the house all the way to the front of the stage, the main stage, going over this cube as well, that were just red lights. And it was very dark and kind of dim in there outside of like the arena lights turning on. And as we were walking back from talking to our friends from Ohio, or they're from Illinois.
They're from Chicago,
Yeah.
but we met them in Ohio. Yes.
Our camping friends, we'll call them that.
Yeah.
They turned down all the lights. It was super fucking dark getting back to our spot, which is one reason also I was like, let's just hang out up here until they do the set change, and then we'll get down and find our seats. So the background ambient noise or the house music bled perfectly well into the beginning of the Boys Noize set. It was just sort of like that song flowed perfectly well into his first song. And then he just continued on through that all night. And I guess we can say his set list. I looked earlier today when putting stuff on our playlist, and there was nothing for Chicago. So I used like Oakland, but as we're recording this tonight, they filled out the set list for the most part. So I need to go back and clean that up a little bit because it's not the same set compared to Oakland. I thought it would be because like, whatever, it's going to be the same thing, but it's not. So why don't you read off what Setlist FM says we got for Boys Noize for night one?
Yeah, and so we didn't even say it. Boys Noize is a electronic DJ.
Yeah.
So are these all, I mean, these are covers, most of them.
Some of them are covers, some of them are his own, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want me to say the covers. That's where I'm going.
Typically we don't say the name of the covers, but this is different, I think. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, because like,
maybe say...
This is going to be bad, but my impression of DJs is they don't produce their own music. They mix other music into their music. So...
Well, sure, that's your impression. I get that. They do a lot of that, but they also make their own music as well. That, to me, that's how
So
my
out of this, it
experience
looks
has
like
been.
there's 2 songs that could be his.
Or he was on the track as well. So when I was adding the tracks from the California song, it was this song by this artist featuring Boys Noize. So he's like a contributor to that track as well. So this is a little different. Typically, like I said, we don't say this song was, and it was a cover by XYZ. Maybe this time we will. We'll definitely put it up on the screen when we do this, but for the people listening, maybe we just say for this particular artist, we go ahead and say like who the cover was.
Okay, half of these I'm not going to be able to pronounce, so I apologize to begin with. So the first song was Hamburger Lady by Throbbing Gristle, and then it was Komm ich Schlock.
The German.
Yeah, it doesn't say German, but yeah, that's probably...
But since he's a German artist.
I'm sure that's German. Down in It by 9 Inch Nails, or Electric Body by DJ Tronic. I could be totally fucking that up, but then it was Be My Lucky Day by K2K. Then this person, whoever put this together, doesn't know the 6th song.
Yeah, there's a couple songs that are unknown, so we'll just leave those as unknown. But if by the time we end up editing this and putting it together, I'll come back to this page, refresh, and if those are filled in, well, I'll pop those in there.
Then it was Not Everyone Can Enter by Zach Mina, Buck Stopping by Paranoid London, and then another unknown. And then Euphoria by Amato. Then it was People Are Still Having Sex by Latour. Then an unknown song.
I do remember that song. All right.
Oh, was there words to it?
There was, yeah.
Oh,
People
okay.
are still having, like it was like people are still having sex. People are still having sex. Maybe they enjoy it. I don't know. I remember that
I don't
song
remember words at all.
at the end of the set and really like making me smile. It was funny.
Then there was another unknown, No Premortal State by Tuzing. Then Heat Seeker. Then he ended with Near You by Co-H.
So I remember, like I said, I remember people are still having sex. There were a couple other songs, now that you mention it, maybe later on the set, like the No Premortal State or whatever it was. I kind of remember that song as well.
Did that have words too?
I think it may have. I don't know. I think so.
Oh, I don't remember any words.
There
but
were
then again, I
definitely
wasn't
words.
really paying attention. So.
You weren't into it by
No.
any means.
I don't like electronic music, so.
I was super into this. I thought it was really cool.
But half the time we were walking around.
We were walking around a lot.
Because, well, we went down to find our seats, and we ended up running into our camping friends again. So we talked to them for a while, and then we went down to the first floor, and there was a lot of people, and you were like, oh, let's go back up to the 3rd floor because you can hear it, and we don't have to go to our seats, but just like kind of stand outside sort of thing, like by the bar, and like you can hear it. Well, we get back up there, and now the 3rd floor is full as well and very noisy. So we go back down and sit in the seats that were gifted to us.
Yeah, that was sort of my thought as well, because like when we were standing up there watching the DJ set, it was a little weird at first, and we didn't stay up there long because we got our tickets like almost right away, and we wanted to go down and find our seats. My fear was they were going to be in the middle, and I didn't want to like get in and out of people and like make them move and whatnot. So I was like, we'll just wait till the set change, and we'll go get our seats then. So when we went down and we're sort of walking around, the thought was, all right, we'll walk around the concourse, find our seats. We'll just explore the venue a little bit because I do like exploring the venue, and even get merch. I think this is the time we went and got merch because there's nobody at merch.
Yeah.
So we got a t-shirt and whatnot, but you could hear it in the 300 section. You could hear it really well as we walked around. There weren't that many people out. By the time we went down to the 100 section, it was very loud. It's like, you know what? We don't need to watch this because it's just a DJ set. Like, you're not really into it. Let's wander around. Let's explore. But we could still hear the music. So that's important to me. And we went back up to the 300, and it had gotten more noisy as people were just sort of hanging out and chilling and whatnot. But the DJ set was weird. And why I say it was weird is because it was that third set all the way in the back, behind the people in the seats who were just sort of sitting with their backs to the DJ set, which was kind of weird at first. And even the people in the GA section were kind of looking all over, like, where the fuck's the DJ set? I think a lot of people thought the DJ set was going to be that middle square stage, which we were kind of, from the 300, we could see, oh no, it's not going to be. That's
why we thought it was, though, at first.
Yeah, but it wasn't. And then we noticed, like, right away that the curtain didn't go up.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh, all right, so he's over here.
Yeah. But we had the same thought, though. I mean, they wouldn't have seen that because the middle thing was like the curtain was down the whole time. So like if you're in the pit, you can't even see
unless you walk over to the wings for sure.
Yeah, but you're not going to do that if you're in the center.
No, you're not. But that's what I'm saying. I did see people turn around like, where the fuck's the act? Because they were looking at that as well. And then some people were like pointing like, oh, it's way, way back there. And eventually I did see people in their seats like turn their head and look behind them to see what was going on. But that was kind of a weird sort of placement for that DJ set,
I would agree.
thought.
Yeah. And I'm assuming all these shows are in arenas, so they're probably the placement's probably the same.
I would assume so as well.
Yeah.
I think the production of the show overall, I think went really, really well, and we'll talk about that. And this placement of it was weird, but I kind of enjoyed it after seeing the whole thing and how it all came together. But at first it was like, this is weird. But also before we got to our seats, we ran into another group and we were talking to them a bit as well. Cause we were like, hey, nice shirt. And we were hanging out talking to them for a bit.
Oh, cause you had your Back to the Beginning shirt on.
Yeah. And he's like, I was at the show too, blah, blah, blah. We started chatting up with them. They went to the night one and they're going to night two. And they're like, we looked at the set list and there's no changeover. And we're like, wait, what do you mean? We're like, there's no changeover. It's going to go straight from this set into the other set. And so that's the final was like, all right, well, let's go down, find our seats now. If people need to move, they need to move, get our seats. Like, people move in and out of the row all the time. One of the reasons we don't like seats, but when we do get seats, we try to get aisle seats so we don't have to like be the nuisance person walking in and out.
Yeah.
But we're like, fuck it, let's just go down after we know there's no changeover. And that was like, I think right around people are still having sex.
Oh, okay.
Or like right before that or something. We had just gotten to our seats when that song was playing, I think. Anywho, we get down there and there's like really nobody in our row, at least by our seats. There were two guys that we had to stand up and we went like 4 seats in and we sat in our seats and there were a couple people there. And then like behind us, I don't think there was really anybody
there was nobody
either.
Behind us. Like the entire row behind us was empty.
Yeah, and I kind of expected that to fill in throughout the night, but it really didn't.
Yeah, because I figured people would get tickets like this. So I figured that it would get filled in as well.
Or if somebody would have, purchased those tickets and been there. Because again, I think this technically sold out. So I don't know. But that's where our seats were. And sure enough, Boys Noize gets done with his set and we go straight into 9 Inch Nails set, which they start in that square stage.
Yep. Yeah.
They start to come out through like the wings through, I think stage left, there's like a little walkway they walk down. And as they were walking, people were cheering and they got their phones out to photos and whatnot. And they went under that curtain into that square. And then Boys Noize got done and the square went up and Trent Reznor was sitting on the piano playing the first track.
Which was really weird when it transitioned because you do have like the energy from the DJ and then...
Well, typically you have the energy from the DJ. I don't feel like the crowd had like a super high level energy.
No.
It definitely wasn't like a super energetic DJ set. It definitely was sort of more mellow, I felt, from the DJ sets I've seen in the past.
Oh, okay. I've only seen DJ sets at Metallica, Slipknot, and here. So, but what I'm saying is like the energy from the music. Like I'm not saying like the crowd had energy. They're sitting in their seats with their back to the DJ.
Sure.
So.
By the end of the set, and even his set was kind of a slower start, and then got not heavier, but got more bass to it and more.
Oh, really?
And it felt like more lively. His set did.
Okay.
But yeah, it did kind of. I agree with you. It was sort of a weird transition from that into a very slow melodic song.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I think it was weird as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like that it went from the energy from the DJ into the melodic song, and it was very soft and slow, and because I think it's like a acoustic type cover, right?
So the song was A Minute to Breathe, and that's a song by Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor.
Oh, okay. So it's his song, kind of.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a joint song. Okay.
Yep. And I'm not very familiar with that song, honestly.
Okay.
So I'm not familiar with a lot of the songs on this outside of like the 3 albums of theirs I truly know.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was kind of a weird placement or whatever, like for it, but it kind of makes sense because it's like, okay, now we're doing this sort of thing. But I don't know. At first I was like, oh, that's really weird that it transitioned that way.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree for sure. And I listed off what the first song was, A Minute to Breathe. Why don't you read off the rest of their set list and we can talk about sort of how that went, I guess.
So after A Minute to Breathe, they played Ruiner, Piggy, Nothing Can Stop Me Now. Then they went to the main stage and they played Wish, March of the Pigs, Reptile, Hearsay, Copy of A, and Gave Up. And then they went back to the middle stage and they played Vessel, Closer, As Alive as You Need Me to Be, and Come Back Haunted. And then they went back to the main stage to finish their set with Mr. Self-Destruct, Less Than, The Perfect Drug, I'm Afraid of Americans, which is a David Bowie cover. And then they played The Hand That Feeds, Head Like a Hole, and they ended with Hurt.
Yeah, the main stage was really cool because it just started with Trent Reznor, and I don't know at what point. Maybe
not the main stage, the
center first,
stage.
the center stage. They call it the B stage on Setlist FM, which is that small little one in the middle. And it started with Trent Reznor on the piano, as we said, and then it started with each individual band member coming out and adding to it for the next song. And I think that was Ruiner, but I'm not 100% positive it was Ruiner or Piggy. I think it was Ruiner though, but. They play those 3 songs and then they go back to the main stage. And the production wasn't like super, super high level production. I didn't feel like there were just basic lights and whatnot around the stage. There was, I believe at this point, one cameraman with like this massive like spotlight on his camera that was walking around the stage, the square, getting on each one of the people playing.
I think that was actually the second time that they went to that middle stage.
Really? Okay.
The spotlight thing was happening. Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember. I remember the second time they went to the set, there was a lot more sort of lights, and the light above the stage did like this 3-tiered staggered light effect. And then there was smoke and shit going around it. And I thought it was really, really cool because the way the lights were going, if you looked at the smoke, it looked like the smoke was like curving around them.
Oh, really?
That's how what I saw. And it was like, wow, this is super cool. It looks like you're being engulfed in flames, but it's just a simple effect of the way you angle your lights and have the smoke coming up in like the wind. I saw that. I was like, that's fucking brilliant. It's a cool effect. And it's practical. It's not like CGI or anything. Like you're here in the middle of people. You're not doing pyro or anything. It's just simple. How do you place your light with smoke? And you can cause these weird shapes and cool like looking curves and whatnot.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And same with the light of the cameraman of just like shooting down and like looking up, because it would blast all the way to the 300 section and you'd see a silhouette of a person, of the person he was filming.
That's what I thought. That's why I remember it being the second time that they went out there, because it was that setup was different. And I was going to bring that up when we talked about those songs, but I'll just say it now since we're talking about it.
Yeah, let's talk about the 2 stages, or the B stage, I guess, all as one.
Okay. So one thing that I realized was from the first one, there's the piano that Trent Reznor starts at, and then there's the 2 smaller DJ booths or whatever for the other 2 guys before, and then there's like a guitar or whatever. And I know, so there's no drum kit, but I'm like, but there's like a bass kind of sound. I think that's just done with the DJ booth things. So that was during the first time that they were on that stage. Well, then the second time they're on the stage, and I don't remember them churning it at all. So something must have happened at some point. But Boys Noize came out to play with them. And so his DJ booth was on this side. The piano was on this side. And then everybody else was kind of around them. So it was opposite. Like the piano was opposite.
So from where we were sitting initially, Trent Reznor's back was to us.
Yes, on the piano.
On the piano. Where was the piano for that second one?
Towards the other side of the stage.
So he's facing us.
Well, it was on the other side, but I think he was really facing the back of the stage.
So by other side, you mean like stage right?
Yes.
So we were on stage left. His back was to us. The second time he came out, his back was his face. He was sort of facing us.
Yeah, I mean, he moved around a lot, but it was on that other side.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought that for that second stint on the B stage, and again, I'm trying to remember this, that it was just the three of them with sort of the DJ kits. I don't remember I don't remember a guitar or bass or anybody else up there other than the three DJs. That's why I was thinking that the camera going around was during that first part, because I thought that was the only time there was a guitar player.
I don't think that they had like the guitars and stuff out there. The first time they had a guitar out there.
And that's what I'm saying. I remember the camera shooting up for that, but I don't remember it for that second stint. But that doesn't matter. Okay. But you are right that even on here, it was mentioned that second time out there in that B stage, Boys Noize was out there on one of the DJ sets playing with them for all of that time. Yeah,
which makes the transition better because immediately when they're done with the main stage, he's out there playing.
On
the second stage so that they can go out there or whatever. So that's how I noticed it. I was just like, oh, he's already there playing. So then you don't have a break between.
I didn't even notice that was Boys Noize until I was putting the set list together and looking at this, and it was like with Boys Noize.
See, and I only noticed it because I was like, he's already out there, and I'm like, when everybody else fills in, I'm like, the only other person would have been the person on drums.
I'm like,
it wasn't.
Yeah, I just assumed one of them on stage had quickly got off stage and ran over there real quick to start going for the next thing.
I guess, that could have worked.
There were a lot of very smooth transitions between songs, and this was definitely going between the stages was definitely one of them. And what you're talking about where Boys Noize was out there was the start of the second stint on the B stage.
Yes.
The way they ended their first stint on the B stage, I thought was fucking awesome. You alluded to this earlier, that there was no drum kit up there. And then all of a sudden they get done with Piggy and you just hear drums kick in. Like, what the fuck is this? And you turn around to the main stage because they're starting to leave and go towards the main stage. And they're projecting like video onto like the curtains that are down covering the main stage still. And it's the drummer just going fucking batshit crazy on the drums back there behind the stage. It's like, holy shit. They get back there, they've raised the curtain up, and there he is playing. The whole band's there now playing as well. But the black curtain's up, but now there's sort of like this mosquito net type curtain.
It's a good way to put it. I was trying to figure out how to like say it.
All the way around, and then like 3 layers within as well, separating the drum kit as well as separating the band, like who's playing like the Atticus Ross playing the keyboard or whatnot. There's the other keyboard and bass. There's the guitar, and there's Trent Reznor as well. And there's all these different sort of mosquito net type layered mesh net things all around the stage, which worked out extremely well because, again, this is what they use for the practical effects to put on the video they were filming and shooting up there. So you would have this sort of ghostly, wavy sort of image that was up here on this mesh net that was there, but you could still see through it and see the band.
Yeah, I wonder what it would have looked like from like the back of the stage or back of the arena, because like we were right there on that side, so we could see that there was 3 layers. But from the back of the arena, I just wonder what it looked like.
And about this time is where like, fuck, I want to go back up to the 300 real quick and see this, but I didn't want to take the time to get back up there.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, I'm just going to stay here and watch this.
I didn't think about moving back up. But
I thought about it for a brief second. It's like,
just
fuck,
to see
this
what
is
it
so
looked
cool.
like. Yeah.
Especially for Copy of A, when that came out and it was just sort of the same image of Trent Reznor being copied over and over and over.
I don't know what songs are what and like where they. And
it was just it worked perfectly because it's like a copy of a copy of a copy, and it was just every time he said it, there'd be another image of him. And the other thing I noticed too, all of the video they played, it wasn't stock footage. It was that one motherfucker running around with his camera, and there must have been another camera somewhere doing like a wide shot or something. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it was just him.
It was just that one guy.
I think so. Because I was watching it as well, and I was like, because I was kind of watching, because they also had like on the sides, they would like show images, and I was watching it. I was like, whatever they're showing is literally where he's standing, because we could see him since we were really close to the stage.
There was one point there was sort of a delay, and it felt like it was sort of just on repeat. That there must have been somebody in my head. I was thinking this, that there must have been somebody who's like, all right, let's take that shot and let's just repeat that on this one camera. And it might have been again during copy of A, where it's like, all right, here's Trent doing this thing, copy that and do it on these 3 cameras, go get another shot, repeat that. And it was just sort of on a loop, basically.
Okay.
So that's sort of what I thought. I don't know, but I thought that was fucking awesome. That it wasn't like this stock footage, which a lot of bands use. Metallica uses it all the time with like their intro for songs, right? And other bands use it for like when they're playing the song, here's this video on the back. This is just, again, practical effects that they're using to add to their show and the aesthetics of their show.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought like the guy running around with the camera was interesting, because at first I was like, well, that's really annoying that he's like right there and like always like in their face sort of thing, or like he would kneel down and get a cool shot or whatever. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, it's a lot of other bands do it when they have screens, or like Metallica has the big screens in the middle and stuff. But those are done by somebody on a platform shooting a camera and always having to be on like something, and then somebody in the background like
telling them like, all right, give this shot.
Yeah,
like directing it almost.
Directing it, or even taking the shots that are there and be like, oh, we're going to show this or whatever.
We're going to go from camera A to camera B type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's the same concept, just this was more, and I'm going to use the word Blair Witchy, which it wasn't really like a Blair Witch project, but it's more shaky. It's more, you're moving around.
Like the found footage, the shaky cam footage. Yeah.
Because like it wasn't smooth by any means. Because when he's running around, you see the pan of him running around.
I actually loved that. I loved that aspect. Like it just added a different aesthetic with that shaky cam. It definitely made me feel like I was sort of in the pit, like being jostled around and not being able to like necessarily focus on. As you're focusing on something, you might get bumped into and moved over this way. So it definitely to me gave me that sort of being in the pit sort of vibe.
I did try to not focus on that. I mean, it was cool to kind of see, but since we were so close to the stage, I was just like, I'm going to watch the actual stage. But I mean, you do see it out of the corner of your eye, or like what you like during that first set on the main stage, they did have those mosquito nets, which they're obviously not mosquito nets, but that's what they kind of look like. So you can't see the images on that or whatever. So
yeah. And like they played a lot of Downward Spiral, which is like the main album. I think a lot of people know. Me in particular, I listen to that a lot, and like I know that album very well. The other one is With Teeth. Like that was the big album for me in high school, in particular. That came out right around my high school time. And then of course Head Like a Hole, Pretty Hate Machine. Those are the 3 albums I know the most. And we were talking about this last night. You're like, I don't know a lot of
I don't know.
9 Inch Nails.
No.
Those are the 3 albums for me that I know the most. And even Pretty Hate Machine isn't really that well known for me. It's definitely Head Like a Hole that I know a lot. But With Teeth and then of course Downward Spiral, those are the 2 albums I've listened to the most, and they played a fuck ton of shit from Downward Spiral, and I loved it so much.
Yeah, I think I knew 5 songs, or recognized 5 songs from the whole night. So
a lot of them were played on Laser growing up too.
Yes, which surprised me with, I don't even know what the song name actually is, but the I Wanna F You Like an Animal.
Closer.
Is that Closer?
Yeah, it's Closer.
I don't even know what the name of the song is, but like, I mean, they just bleep it out on Laser. But
and the cool thing with that song, I at least I heard from like VH1 or some shit growing up, was they made a music video for that was like they used a lot of risque or pornographic type images that when they put it in for like, hey, let's air this on MTV. And he's like, no, we can't do that. And like, why not? What scenes are bad? And they're like, this scene, this scene, this scene. Like it listed off all the scenes.
Yeah.
So on the music video, they just cut those scenes off, and it's like footage not found. Like it's
that's funny.
It gets to that scene like footage not found, footage not found, and then of course they bleep out fuck on that as well. Yeah,
like I remember just recently having a conversation with you when we were in Iowa, and that came on or whatever, and you're like, I mean, you were like, I like 9 Inch Nails. I just don't understand why this is the song that they allow to play, but you can't play other songs by other bands, like sort of thing. So
the radio is so fucking weird, and we brought this up a lot because you don't hear a lot of metal necessarily on radio. Like we always bitch about not hearing Lamb of God, for instance, on radio. Like why the fuck does that not get radio play? but at the same time, you get Pantera quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that in
Like
terms of
yeah.
why Pantera is okay to play, but Lamb of God we're not going to play any of. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to come around to like the radio does play metal. They just don't play a lot of metal.
Yeah.
Or they play the same metal over
It's the
and
same
over
same
and over.
songs over and over and over. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's no going outside the box. So
Yeah. So yeah, that was the main stage setup as well as some of the songs with like the mosquito net. And we talked a little bit about the second stage, how they went out there and there's like the center light thing that did like a whole tier thing and the smoke and like the wavy kind of look of the tier. There was another song as well, I think March of the Pigs, that I kind of like nudged you a little bit because they were using red and blue lights, like police lights.
Yeah.
And they were using those LED strips again. And if I focused on one person in the pit, as those lights jostled back and forth between, or oscillated, I guess is a better word, between red and blue, it made it look after like a second or two like the person was like a little wavy and whatnot.
Oh.
And it's like, that's kind of a weird thing. Again, to me, that was just like, this is kind of cool to like use these two lights and like oscillating back and forth really quickly, like police lights, which fit the song perfectly. But if you look at a certain object, it fucked with your mind a little bit, at least to me.
Yeah. You were trying to tell me that. And you should probably know that when a band's playing, it's hard to hear.
I was trying to type it up, but then it got over and yeah, whatever. The other
we
thing,
normally do not talk during concerts, but Brian tried to tell me to look at the crowd during that, and I did not understand.
The other thing, especially with Boys Noize, with all the covers that they did, a lot of those were sort of remixes where they they add in their own effects, their own sounds on top of it, remixing the track. A lot of the songs for that second stint on the B stage were remixes as well. Like Closer was, with Boys Noize, but they added remixes in certain, like, it was a unique song. I don't know if it's going to be the same unique song every time, but when I was putting these songs on the set list for us, it made me think like, fuck, if we went tonight, would the show be slightly different, vastly different with like the remixes? I bet the set list is going to be exactly the same, but is it those remixes that cause like the little nuance and whatnot for people to come back and keep watching and keep seeing them over and over? So that was one thought I had.
I wouldn't be able to tell the difference probably.
I don't think I would either. Honestly, I don't think I would. Like, I don't know. I go to Dead and Company with a friend of mine and he's really into it. I'm into it as well. And like, I think that's one of the big things with Deadheads and going to Dead shows is sort of the interludes between the songs, or sort of the jammy aspects between the songs where they're just, fucking around. And like, if you see them play one night, the next night that jam session is going to be a little different. To me, that's how this kind of felt a little bit to me.
But you've only seen one show, so you don't know.
Well, one show of this tour.
Of this tour, yes.
Which we'll get to in a second as
but
well,
did
I
they
guess.
have a DJ at the other?
They didn't. Well, not a DJ as an opener, which we'll get.
Yeah,
let's finish.
they do the DJ stuff.
Yes.
So,
yeah. But getting to the last bit of the section, or the last bit of the set, the final sort of main set show, this time when the curtain came up, because when they went back, the curtain came down. This time when it came up, the mosquito net was gone as well.
Yep.
So no more of those effects. But behind the drum kit, it seemed like the walls opened up a little bit, or a curtain opened, and there were more sort of lights that were all over the place.
But the lights like went into each other, so
They
didn't
did.
like shine out to the crowd. Because at first when I saw it, I was like, well, fuck, this is going to be a lot of lights. But they shined in.
I think they may have been able to move outwards, and maybe they did a little bit, but for the most part, they were definitely like shined in and doing like not blaring you in the eyes by any means. Which did you get affected by the lights at all? Because there were a lot of lights. There were also like a string of lights along stage right and stage left that would like shine up into the crowd from time to time.
Yeah, like the ones on the side every once in a while would shine up, but it didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me either. Typically,
end.
I hate those kind of lights that shine directly into the crowd.
Yeah.
But these weren't like the bright white lights. They were more the warm yellowish lights. And it wasn't like a constant shine. It was more stroby, but it wasn't like strobing all the time. It was just sort of strobing for a few seconds and then stop and let go. I think the ones I hate the most are where it's just lights in the back shining into the crowd so you get the silhouette, and that's it. But again, I think they did that silhouette effect when they had the mosquito net. And again, that worked out really well for that because you had the mosquito net to sort of grab that shadow and make it look big. So I don't know, just a thought. But that second set, the Mosquito Net was gone. They were just on stage playing. It was a really, really good second main set.
Yeah,
Main
like
stage
going back
set.
to the main stage. Yeah.
Highlights for me definitely Head Like a Hole in Hand That Feeds, and I'm Afraid of Americans. I did not know that was a David Bowie song. I was hoping that was an original song of theirs so I could add it to the playlist. I didn't add it to the playlist because it is a cover and we don't typically do that. That was a great song. I fucking loved that song so much. And I'm not the biggest David Bowie fan, honestly. And that's mainly because I don't listen to him. Maybe I need to check out his stuff more often. I don't know. But yeah, any other highlights for you for that second main set that you really enjoyed or that stood out for you?
I don't know the songs that well, so I don't know.
No, like memories though, like that was kind of cool or anything like that. No. How about how they closed out with Hurt as the final song and then no encore? It was just sort of curtain drop.
I forgot about that, but yeah, like the curtain goes down but it's just droning, like a guitar drone.
Just like a ambient noise or like a loud hum just kept going and going and going.
Isn't that like a
I guess,
guitar
yeah.
drone? Yeah.
I didn't think it was made by a guitar, but maybe it was. I don't.
Oh, that's what I took it as.
Some sort of droning noise for sure, yeah.
And then, the curtain comes down, and NIN goes on the curtain for 9 Inch Nails, and the lights are really stroby at this point.
Those ones on the stage left, stage right are definitely in the crowd shooting us in the eyes. This was one point where it was a little annoying, I thought.
That's why I said it until the end.
Yeah.
When you said like, oh, they weren't bad. I was like, until the end.
And I had to like put my hand up to block it. And I saw a lot of people actually doing that. Like, what the fuck's going on here? But that was it.
Yep. And then
no encore.
Like it just drones for 5 minutes
It felt like a long time. I don't think it was that long, maybe a minute. But it was not that.
I feel like it was more than a minute, but
maybe, I don't know.
Anyways, I wasn't timing it. But then, it stops and the house lights come up and it's like, oh, I guess it's over.
Yeah.
Which is fine. People don't need to do fucking encores. Encores are stupid.
I thought the way the whole show flowed between going to those sets and, with the Boys Noize DJ set out in that third sort of set and then coming into the middle set and then the main set and bouncing back and forth. I thought it flowed very well. The production aspect, like I said, with Mosquito Net and the lighting and the smoke and how they utilized all of that, I thought that was fucking awesome. I loved it. And then, just the way it ended with like the strobing lights and the curtain coming down, like, all right, we're going to do an encore. And then I could have seen them going out to the middle set again, or even to that third set, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. And close it out.
No, I don't think they would go back there to that platform thing.
But also ending on Hurt. Another super slow, sort of melodic, emotional song, just like the way the set started.
Which was kind of, so I didn't recognize that was Hurt, which I know the Johnny Cash version. I haven't really listened to, but you probably played the 9 Inch Nails version.
I have played it for you for sure.
But
I have played the Johnny Cash a hell of a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, I've listened to that on my own, like, not even with you playing it. But I realized I knew the lyrics to the song. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together what song it was. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I did put... I know we say we don't put covers on our set list unless like the band covers it and does it themselves, and we don't put the original on. But I did put the original on our set list this time around.
Because Brian makes the rules.
I do. If you want to make the rules and put the set list together, by all means, go ahead.
Well, go. No, I'm not putting it together. But go back to next year and put Signs of the Swarm on the set list.
Did I not last year?
You did not, because I saw it by myself and we didn't see it together.
Oh, right.
But then when you saw a concert by yourself,
again, the rules changed this year for this version of the set list. I don't want to go back and find this place where it goes and drag it up there. Yeah. Anywho, what I was trying to say is I went ahead and put the original on of Johnny Cash and the cover that 9 Inch Nails did of it.
So was it the original? I thought 9 Inch Nails did it first and then Johnny Cash covered it.
They did. That was a joke.
Okay.
Trent Reznor, I think, was quoted once as saying something along the lines of like, yeah, that's no longer my song. That's Johnny's song. Like, I wrote the original song, but he took it and made it his song. And now like that is the song. Yeah. And the way those two songs, when you listen to them, they're so fucking different, but they're the exact same song, right? Except for 9 Inch Nails version is like 7 minutes long and Johnny's is like 3.5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a lot of, I don't want to call it noise, but like ambient noise and like the the music in between the verses and the chorus is very long and sort of drawn out, which adds to sort of the way that song is. But then Johnny's voice, and I don't know.
Well, Johnny's is just the
It is
string guitar, so it's
but also like his voice and how he delivers the lines. There's
Yeah.
just so much like weight to it. Like the
I get what
song
you're saying.
is about.
I thought you were talking about the music in between. Sorry.
I think the song is about addiction and like I don't want to say heroin addiction, but some sort of drug addiction at the time or whatnot. And Johnny Cash's is more of like I'm reaching the end of my life and I'm going to die type thing.
Yeah.
So different. It's to me, it's amazing. It's the same song, but they're so different at the
like
same
Ditch.
time.
Like
Yeah.
we thought it. I mean,
Exactly.
You can interpret it however you want.
But yeah, that was the show.
Yeah.
We haven't touched on really my first time seeing Nine Inch Nails, which you haven't seen them before. I've seen them one other time.
And before you go into that, like Nine Inch Nails has always been, obviously I know like the 3 songs that they play on the radio. But then other than that, like I've never dug into them. I know they're always out there, you know, like it's always a band that's out there, but it's always just been like, not my thing. And now seeing the live show, I don't know if I would dig into their catalog just because the electronic aspects.
That really turned you off that bad?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I didn't like it. I didn't like seeing the show, even like being at the show and like with all the electronic aspects. I'm like, it's just not the metal I want to listen to.
Interesting. All
And
right.
it was, I even had the thought of like, if they, I mean, they'll probably come back to Chicago, but like, do I want to go again? Yeah, I probably will, but it's just not my thing.
Oh, it's disappointing because like the first time I saw them was I think 2018.
I was trying to think if it was 2017 or 2018.
I think it was 2018. I went out to Vegas for my first ever Magic the Gathering Grand Prix. That was my Vegas trip. I went to go play Magic. And like one of the first nights I was there, I was looking for something to do.
You should just say playing cards.
Well, they are cards, Magic the Gathering cards. Anyway, I was looking for something to do and I saw Hard Rock Nine Inch Nails was playing. So I was like $60 or whatever the price was. They may have been secondary tickets too. I don't know. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go to this. Went out to the Hard Rock in Vegas, I think it was. The venue was like the stacked floor type thing. Someday we'll make it out there. One of the road trips we planned out was to stop there at that venue, hopefully. Anywho, saw the show. The opener was like Queen something or other. Just sort of a, I don't know, grungy, alt hardcore type band. I don't know. It was weird. I remember seeing their show and be like, holy fuck, these guys are awesome. I love this band. I came home from that trip and
You saw it when you thought that for Nine Inch Nails or the opener?
for the opener.
Okay.
And I went back and listened to them on whatever streaming service, probably Pandora at that time. And I listened to their shit on streaming and I did not like it. The energy was just different. It wasn't there. And that's sort of like, I think one of the first experiences I had with the live show being different than the recorded.
Okay.
And I can't remember what the name of the band was. It sort of faded for me. I can look it up at some point. Queen something, I think. Anywho, Nine Inch Nails come on, and it's a much, much smaller stage than this. There weren't sort of seats. It was all sort of GA and whatnot. And they had a great production as well. They use lights heavily, and they use lights very, very well, just like they did here as well. But again, no screens really or anything to like project and do like the camera work and whatnot. So seeing that show and seeing this show, it was very different, but very similar as well. I loved how they did sort of the arena feel, but also make it sort of not arena feel.
Yeah. I wonder on that whole tour, like what types of venues they were selling, because it's kind of weird for you to see them at a smaller type venue like the Hard Rock and then going to an arena show.
Yeah, I think when this was announced, like a lot of people were also in sort of the comments and the threads I was looking at online were like, wow, they're playing a big venue. I don't know if they've really played venues this large in the past either. I think a few things have happened. Like they haven't toured in a number of years. So I think that is driving up people wanting to see them again because it's been a few years. Also, and I noticed this walking home, there were a couple guys talking in front of us and I was sort of eavesdropping a little bit. But since that tour, I think Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross got really big into film and TV production for like writing music for that and winning Oscars and Emmys and shit like that. So now you have sort of this weird sort of intersection of people who would be interested in seeing this of film buffs,
Yeah.
TV buffs who are like, follow the award season. Like these guys are nominated all the fucking time for shit.
So then you get a different audience.
You're starting to get more audience in as well. I think there were a fuck ton of fans, but walking back, there were two guys like, so they did the band before they did, like talking about that.
I see.
Also, I don't think they played anything from Tron, not that I'm seeing, because they have their new album coming out.
But you kept saying like, Tron. This is Tron.
So the new vibe for Tron, and especially their album, is like all red, and you go walk in and it felt all red and gritty.
So I think I noticed in between the songs, like it mixed very well, like going straight into another song. But like that part that was mixing in, like the DJ part, did have a Tron vibe of like the light cycle, like the music that's going when the light cycles are going and stuff like that.
And that could have been some of the remix as well, putting in some of what was coming out for the Tron album.
Yeah.
So that was different. I remember seeing that show overall at the time. And if you would have asked me in 2018, that probably would have been my number 2 or number 3 greatest show of all time.
Okay.
And it sort of faded. I'm really trying to get away from like greatest shows of all time. I'm just more like it's hard.
It's hard now. I mean, when you see 250 shows, like how do you find it?
Right.
I mean, Back to the Beginning is probably number 1/2.
Is that now number 1 for you? Because we talked about that at one point, and you're like, I don't think it's number 1 for me.
I don't know. The more and more I think about it, it's rising. But I mean, S&M 2 is definitely number 1. So that's where it's like, can we have like one A, B, C team?
All of these are 1.
Yeah.
See, and that's where I'm at too. Like, definitely for me, my number 1 show is my first GA show. Number 2 is S&M 2, just because of what those shows meant.
Yeah.
And then maybe Open Air, not because it was great, but because that sort of kickstarted us getting back into music.
I think that's why I am with Back to the Beginning as well. It's like, we have those memories of all those. I mean, obviously, I didn't go to the Slipknot show in 2004 or 5.
Yeah.
But like, everything has its own place. So it's hard to say, yeah, this is number 1.
Right. It's really, really hard. But it's sort of like that show has, I think, slipped over time, not because there's been better ones necessarily, but because there's been more recent shows that are drawing memories and whatnot that I'm thinking about. But when this was announced, it instantly brought back those memories of that show I had in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah. And also at that time, we weren't really seeing that many shows.
We weren't seeing that many
just
shows.
a couple of years, so.
And seeing this show this time around, I was like, this again is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. The show was so fucking good in my opinion.
The production was really good. It's just not the music I want to listen to.
It's not the music you want to.
I'm not saying like the show was shitty. I'm saying it's not something I'm drawn to listening to.
I can see that, and I'm a little pissed that you didn't like it as much because I don't know. I feel like it's so good, and I want you to love it, and I want you to think it's great as well. But you feel the same way when you show me like a core band.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we go to Science of the Swarm, and I'm gonna be leaving like, oh my god, that was the best night ever, and you're gonna be like, yeah, okay.
I need to get level set that like it's okay for you not to like everything
for
that I like.
For us two to have different opinions.
But it hurts a little bit that you didn't like this show.
I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm saying
you didn't like the music. No, I get it. You don't like the music. It's fine.
I didn't say that. I said it's not going to be a go-to music for me to listen to, and I will have to think twice if I want to go see the show again, especially if money-wise.
Yeah, that's
if
fair.
we pay for $60 tickets and then get to the 100 section, that's awesome. But that's not going to happen again. This was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, probably.
But if we stayed in the 300, I think the show still would have been fucking phenomenal.
No, I agree.
I do kind of wish we would have gone back up to check it out.
We could have.
But I'm also kind of glad. Like, I didn't want to, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to miss the...
There's no break.
There is no break.
No break to go up.
Which was also another great sort of aesthetic that you don't get with a lot of shows, that the house music blends right into the first opener, which blends right into the main set. Yeah. And then the main set just sort of ends. Yeah. And you're done.
Which is, recently we've seen a lot of shows. Well, 2 shows that I can think of, not a lot. But Back to the Beginning, I said I absolutely loved that it was boom, 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 boom. When we went to see Hatebreed with Summer Slaughter, it was boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, I absolutely love it. And I do. Like, I don't like the whole 30-minute waiting for set change and blah, blah, all that stuff. So
let people jostle around a little bit and whatnot. One other thing, I guess, real quick as well that we haven't really mentioned. We were sitting there looking down at the floor, and the back of the floor was not sold out. Like there was plenty
Back
of room.
the GA section of the floor. Yeah.
But it was kind of funny because as they'd switch between the two stages,
The crowd
would move and migrate.
Except for whoever was on the rail, obviously.
Because they didn't want to let
close
go.
to the rail, but everybody else is like...
There was one guy I saw went and like did a sliding, like went running and then slid on his knees for a little bit and then stood up and like started headbanging for one of the songs.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking hilarious. But
I did like to see the crowd because there were so many people into it, and like that was really fun to watch. And like like I said, I know like 5 songs, but I'm not like, oh my god, can you see his butt?
Maybe.
But I'm not like, oh my god, like, you know, this is something I'm going to listen to, especially with the electronic parts.
Yeah.
That's the part that turns me off. So
I know people are like super, 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 super big on Nine Inch Nails. They fucking love it. And I can see why.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not to that level, but the experience at the show, the music at the show, the production of the show, I fucking love it. And every chance I get to see them, I will. Like this is a phenomenal, phenomenal show. Even if you're not in the music like Karen, the production value alone was so fucking good.
How long have they been around? Do you know?
91.
91, okay.
Somewhere in there. Like they were definitely around early 90s.
So what I was going to say is having the heavier parts, the rock parts, semi-metal parts as well, and then having the electronic is a good way to bring the genres together.
Sorry, I was wrong.
88? Holy shit.
Like, you're definitely in the industrial metal realm.
Yes, yeah, and you get that, yeah.
You definitely get that.
Yeah.
So is Rammstein, but Rammstein doesn't use as much of the EDM or technical aspects.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's not all just, to me, it's heavy on the technical aspect, or the electronic music aspect, where I know Slipknot uses electronic music, I know Linkin Park does electronic music, I know Rammstein uses electronic music, and all those 3 bands I absolutely love. And
by electronic music, you sometimes also mean like synthesizers or like keyboards and shit like that, not necessarily like EDM type shit.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really what I consider EDM.
Oh, really? There's some EDM that's very similar to this. And
really?
That's the EDM I lean towards more than anything.
Not the rave type EDM.
Like that shit? Fuck no. I hate that fucking noise so much. Whenever I hear that, I'm so pissed.
What's that one band? Dance with the Devil?
Dance with the Dead? Dance with the Dead.
Yeah, like I like them. So I don't know. It goes back and forth. For me personally, I enjoyed the show. It was a very good show. Very good production of the show. I liked how it flowed. I like all that stuff. I'm just not going to personally probably prioritize listening to Nine Inch Nails over something else.
Sorry, I added the prioritize word there. I was trying to say prioritize going to see them again.
Oh, it depends on the money aspect.
I will prioritize going to see them again.
Paying for 1 ticket is better than paying for 2 tickets.
Sure.
No, I would probably go see them again. I really would.
But yeah, this was a phenomenal show. It's definitely different live than just listening to it at home. So if you can, and again, that's why I love live music. That's why we love live music. It's an experience. It's a community, and it's fucking awesome. You're going to get stuff that you don't get just by listening to it at home. So go check out some live music, and hopefully we'll see you out there.
Bye.